Hello everyone, my name is Graham and welcome to the ultimate test of survival. We're kicking off a brand new Minecraft Challenges series where I'll push my limits in the most brutal custom worlds Minecraft can throw at me. The goal? Survive at least 100 days. And here's the kicker for the first challenge. We're diving headfirst into what I genuinely believe is the toughest biome in the entire game, the snowy beach. And to crank the difficulty to 11, we're doing it all in hardcore mode. One life, that's it. No respawns, no second chances, one mistake, and it's all over. And here's the best part. If you're watching this and thinking, hey, I want to try that, you absolutely can. No complicated world mods or downloads required. It's all built right into vanilla Minecraft. Just create a new world, select hardcore, set the world type to single biome, and pick snowy beach. Click create new world and boom, you're ready for the pain. That's the easy setup. The real challenge begins the second you spawn. Just look at this place. No, seriously, look. It isn't just a tough biome, it's practically a barren wasteland. Forget about finding animals. There are none. Trees, grass, villages, forget about it. This is a desolate expanse of ice and snow, with very few structures popping up anywhere. And if that wasn't enough, the water here freezes solid the moment you look away, making even basic water collection a nightmare. To truly embrace this chaos, I'm ditching the F3 debug screen. That means no coordinates and no easy way to tell where I am. Every landmark, every self-made navigation beacon will be crucial, because out here, everything looks identical, and getting lost means a swift end to this hardcore run. Alright, day one. Every single item matters. My first mission, scour this frozen beach for anything, and I mean anything that can help us survive. What I'm really praying for is a shipwreck. That's our golden ticket. A chance at some precious loot, maybe some vital food, but most importantly, it's potentially my only source of wood in this entire world. Without wood, I can't even craft a basic pickaxe, let alone tools or weapons. It's truly a make or break situation. Luckily, I stumbled upon this shipwreck. The loot wasn't incredible, just one piece of armor and a handful of food, but it's enough to get started. With no bed in sight, there's no hope for sleeping through the night. This shipwreck is my temporary fortress. And just like that, the first night descends. Time to hunker down and do some desperate mining and keep a constant vigil for the first hint of daylight. This is just day one and the struggle is already real. Day two dawned and let me tell you, the pressure was on. We desperately needed some more resources, and I mean, we were practically living on hopes and dreams, and those don't exactly fill your hunger bar. Food, wood, anything that wasn't snow, frankly. So I immediately set out to expand our little circle of influence. And then, against all odds in this frozen wasteland, I actually stumbled upon another shipwreck. Can you believe it? Talk about a stroke of luck. Or maybe it's just a sign this game actually likes me for a change. I wasted no time grabbing every single piece of loot, every plank, every bit of soggy food. Seriously, when you're this desperate, even moldy bread looks like a feast. But as always, in this hardcore world, night falls fast, and with the mobs already lurking, building even the most basic shelter became a top priority. I had too many precious resources to lose, so I crammed myself inside, hunkering down for most of the night. I couldn't resist popping out to snag one or two easy mob kills though, because who doesn't love a bit of risky business for some XP? Day 3, and I had a big brain idea. I packed up everything and booked it back to spawn. Why? Because spawn is the perfect base location. My crops will keep growing in the spawn chunks, even when I'm off exploring the great frozen wilderness. That's right, passive potato production! But with big brains comes big problems. The phantoms are coming soon, and believe me, you do not want to meet those guys without a bed. So a bed became absolutely critical. Back at spawn, I emptied my pockets and spent the rest of the night fighting off mobs. It was non-stop, desperate struggle for survival, mostly focused on finding those 8-legged creeps, spiders, to get the precious string I needed. The struggle is real, folks, and the sleep deprivation, even more real. Still no sleep. Day 4 dawned, or maybe it was just continuing from day 3, because I was still up all night. I was absolutely rushing to build my shelter, fueled by pure dread. Why? Because I knew with every block I placed that the phantoms were coming any second. I worked until deep into the night, but then had to switch to my secondary mission, hunting spiders. Every creepy crawly I found was a step closer to a bed, and finally, some blessed sleep. And then, just like clockwork, right on schedule for the sleepless torment, first dreaded phantom spawned. The fight was on. All I wanted to do was close my eyes for 5 minutes, but these guys clearly had other plans. Okay, so phantoms are brutal, seriously. Those things hit like a truck made out of nightmares. Day 4 ended with me taking a lot of hits, which meant diving deep into my precious dwindling food supply. Not ideal. Not ideal at all. I was getting desperate for a more sustainable food source, so farming became a high priority too. Gotta get those carrots and potatoes popping. But here's the good news. The best news. All that frantic fighting against spiders actually paid off. After what felt like an eternity, I finally crafted a bed. You have no idea how good that felt to place that thing down. Day 6 began, as many days do in this hardcore snowy biome, with a delightful little chore I like to call the mob dropping stash. You know, that charming sprint around the base, scooping up all the bits and bobs that night's uninvited guests left behind. Bones, string, the occasional zombie flesh if I'm feeling brave enough to touch it. But the real prize? Arrows. Loads of them. Next up, the true backbone of my survival, the farm. I hustled over to my frost-kissed plot to see what meager offerings the land has blessed me with. Carrots and potatoes, not exactly the gourmet meal of champions, but hey, they're keeping me from starving, and that's a win in my book. Harvest, replant, repeat. It's a tedious cycle, but a necessary one. My thoughts turn to the gaping void that is still supposed to be my impenetrable base. To continue building this fortress against the elements and the nightmares, I need serious supplies. And you know what that means? Time to brave the depths. Off to the mines I go. Time to dig deep, hopefully find some iron, and pray I don't run into anything with too many eyes or teeth. Day 7, and life still revolved around my humble farm. I continued the sacred task of attending my crops, and guess what? My first pumpkin! Yes! A little victory in this frozen world. And of course, the ever-popular mob-dropping dash was back on the agenda. Gotta collect those useful bits. But my basic stone tools were practically begging for retirement. I desperately needed iron, so it was back to the depths for some caving. However, it seemed like every cave I found was completely flooded. Seriously, it was like a subterranean swimming pool down there. Very annoying. Despite the watery setback, I persevered. I did manage to get some much-needed iron and a good haul of coal. And the best part? I finally crafted my very first iron tool, a shiny new pickaxe. Now we're talking business. Day 8, and the daily ritual of farming continued. You know the drill. Harvest, replant, repeat. But this time I actually extended my farm. Got to get those larger yields, especially if I want to stop living off desperation potatoes. More food means more survival. Simple math, really. Then a stroke of genius. Or just extreme sleep deprivation from playing this game. I finally crafted myself a clock. This thing is a game changer. Now I can better track the day-night cycles, which is super helpful for my recordings. Especially when I'm down in those deep caves, I have no idea what time it is. Now I'm the master of time, at least when I'm holding the clock. Another thought popped into my head. With a leftover string, I could craft a fishing rod. If I can just figure out how to fish without the water instantly freezing solid in this frozen wasteland, I could get some sweet loot and more food. It's a long shot, but desperate times call for desperate measures. A tomorrow problem. Day 9, and the mobs must have been throwing an epic party last night, because this morning's mob dropping dash was especially good. So much stuff. Always a nice bonus to start the day. Decided to take a break from the endless farming grind and go exploring a bit. And boom, I actually found a ruined portal. Seriously, one of the few structures that even bothered to spawn in this barren frozen world. The loot was good too. Scored a flint and steel, some precious obsidian, and even a fancy golden helmet. Not bad for a quick detour. But of course, the sun was setting fast, so I had to leg it back to the base hastily, trying to outrun the inevitable night shift of monsters. Another day, another close call, but at least I'm slightly richer. Day 10, and I hit an interesting dilemma. I desperately want to extend my farms for a bigger yield, but here's the kicker. I have absolutely no dirt. Not normally a problem for any other Minecraft world, right? You just scoop some up. But in this barren frozen wasteland, there isn't any surface dirt to be found. Classic snowy beach biome problems, apparently. So I had to go exploring caves, specifically looking for dirt. While exploring, I stumbled upon a massive cave opening, truly enormous. Definitely earmarked that for a future heavily armed exploration. Eventually found some dirt. Precious dirt. And with that, I managed to extend my farms. More food is coming, folks. The struggle for sustainable snacks is real, but we're getting there. Day 11, kicking off the day with my usual morning routine, a good old mob dropping sprint, and then straight to tending my ever-expanding farm. More crops planted, more yield, baby. My food supply is finally starting to look less dire, which is a massive relief, believe me. Then a moment of sheer genius hit me. I finally decided to build a proper fishing area. This isn't just about more food, though it's a huge bonus, obviously. It's also a small, exciting chance of reeling in some cool loot, like enchanted books or even a bow. To make this dream a reality, I started cooking up a ton of sand for glass blocks. Why glass? Because placing blocks over ice stops the water underneath from freezing. Totally smart, right? And since glass blocks are transparent, they won't mess with the fishing luck. Talk about a win-win situation. Day 12. After my usual morning mob cleanup and farm routine, it was finally time. Time to get my fishing on. Ponds built, rod in hand, and I was ready to reel in some serious dinner. I kept casting my line late into the night, and man, the fish were biting. But as always, the mobs kept bugging me, so I eventually had to stop. Seriously, can't a guy just fish in peace out here? Then, the catch of the day. I reeled in a saddle. I got super excited, picturing myself riding into the sunset. until I remembered there are 0 horses in this barren frozen wasteland. Despite the interruptions and the horseless reality, the haul was great. I ended the day with a glorious barbecue featuring delicious fish. And let me tell you, after days of just carrots and potatoes, this was food for kings. My hunger bar was full, my spirits were high, and I even felt a little bit fancy. Day 13, and how did I forget about this? Boating on ice. Seriously, what more can I say? Most of my entire day just vanished, having an absolute blast zooming across the frozen ocean at incredible speeds. It's truly one of the greatest joys in Minecraft, especially in this otherwise desolate snowy world. Amidst my high-speed antics, I actually came across another shipwreck, and even better, a treasure map. My inner pirate was absolutely thrilled, but as always, the day got away from me way too fast. So with twilight looming and the potential mob stirring, I had to rush back to my base hastily. Another close call, but totally worth it for the sheer fun of it. Day 14. First order of business, take that boat out for another spin and finally go find that treasure from the map I snagged yesterday. And guess what? It paid off big time. Another diamond. That makes 2 now. We're practically rich. After that win, I decided just to go explore a bit. Honestly, just admiring the world generation. Seriously, Mojang, nicely done. Even in this snowy barren place, there are some stunning vistas. And of course, during my scenic tour, I stumbled upon yet another ruined portal. You know the drill. Pillage everything I possibly could. Another day, another successful expedition. Day 15 dawned and my brain immediately latched onto a critical problem. How on earth do I get grass blocks and grass seeds in this utterly frozen world? You can't just dig them up here. I was scratching my head, ready to give up on ever having a green patch. And then it hit me, like a lightning bolt of sheer genius. On day 1, I actually snagged 3 moss blocks. You know what you can do with moss blocks? Bone meal them. Not only would this give me grass, but it would also spawn azalea saplings. This is a massive breakthrough, solving my other huge problem, easy access to more wood. Trees don't naturally spawn in this barren frozen beach biome, so wood has been a constant struggle. Why did I not think of this sooner? It's simple, it's brilliant. It means I might finally have a sustainable wood supply. My base is about to get a whole lot greener. Day 16. You know, I've been desperate for some proper wood. Well, finally, I could actually grow some trees here in this frozen wasteland. What a relief. I spent the day turning those saplings into much needed lumber, feeling pretty pleased with my newfound lumberjack skills. My crops were getting some love too. Every potato felt like a huge victory. I was just admiring my work when out of nowhere, raiders decided to drop by. Talk about an uninvited housewarming party, right? Luckily, the slippery ice and the deep snow worked in my favor. They were too busy slogging through it to pose any real threat. I wasn't exactly ready for a full-on battle, so I just let them wander off. A little too close for comfort, but hey, a win's a win, I guess. Day 17. So yesterday was pretty great, right? Except I absolutely incinerated my bone meal supply. You know how it is. My big plan was to see if these azalea saplings would just grow on their own, like normal trees do. No bone meal needed. While I waited for that grand experiment, I expanded my pumpkin patch and finally started getting some grass seeds down for future wheat. Turns out, my azalea idea was a bust. They just sat there, stubbornly refusing to grow. So yeah, I had to go back to bone mealing them. And guess what that meant for the night? Mob hunting. Specifically trying to take down every single skeleton I could find. Gotta get those bones back, right? Day 18. You know, I just couldn't keep squatting like some kind of snow goblin. I needed a real home. So today was officially construction day. I worked until it was super late, and I swear, my floor plan grew bigger every time I placed a block. Go big or go bust, right? Anyway, I decided to take a break from my ambitious build and went mob hunting again. So much fun as always. And guess what? I finally snagged myself a zombie villager. You remember, no villagers generate here, so this little guy is going to be incredibly handy in the future. Just gotta figure out how to heal him first. Day 19. Alright, it was harvest time again. My stick supply is actually coming on quite nicely. Remember, those are super important for villager trading later. You know how it is. After that, it was straight back to base construction. Can't keep slacking off now, especially in this freezing biome. Then night fell and I thought, hey, my zombie villager friend from last night might like a little company. And as luck would have it, I found and snagged a second zombie villager. See? I'm getting pretty good at this whole zombie kidnapping thing. Day 20. Can you believe it? It's day 20 and I still don't have a full set of decent armor. What am I even doing? This is hardcore mode. Plus I completely, absolutely, totally used up all my building supplies. So you guessed it, it's time to go mining again. I needed everything down there. Cobblestone, iron, redstone, diamonds, gold. Seriously, whatever I could get my pickaxe on. I spent 4 solid days down in those caves. Honestly, time just flies when you're having fun. I was pushing my luck loaded with so many resources. But eventually I just had to come up for air. Day 24. With all those treasures from my 4-day mining binge, it was time to celebrate. I finally crafted myself a full set of diamond armor and tools. Talk about an upgrade. After that, I had to do some serious house cleaning. My chests were an absolute disaster, honestly. Still had daylight to burn though, so jumped back into building my house. That's when another genius idea popped into my head. What resource do I have tons of? Snow! This whole world is literally covered in it. So why not build part of my house using snow blocks? And as if the day couldn't get any better, with my new gear, I even took on an enderman and snagged my very first ender pearl. Today was a really good day. Day 25. Alright, the grind continues. I kept pushing on with my house construction and honestly, got so much done. My floor is so close to being finished, which means no more accidentally falling out of my house in the middle of the night. Thank goodness. I also put those hard-earned diamonds and obsidian to good use and finally crafted an enchantment table. You know what that means. I'll be using those XP levels real soon to get some awesome enchantments on my gear. Can't wait for tomorrow, everyone. It should be official moving in day. And that's going to wrap it up for part 1 of my Snowy Beach Hardcore Challenge. What a journey it's been so far in this desolate world. Honestly, this has been my 3rd attempt at this challenge and I've never made it this far, so I'm genuinely having an absolute blast. If you enjoyed watching my struggles and triumphs, please go ahead and hit that like button, it really helps out the channel. And if you don't want to miss what happens in part 2, including official moving in day, then make sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications. Thanks for watching, everyone.